Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Thank you so much for joining. I wanted to seek the blessings of Radha Mata, Radha Shamsun, Krishna Balaram, Bal Gopal, the Singadev, Bhagwan Jagannath, Baladev, Subhadra, Shishi Gonitai, Tulsi Mani, Haridas Thakur, Guru Parampara, Srila Prabhupada, and Guru Maharaj, and the assembled devotees. So actually, this is the final chapter of the 6th canto. And we looked at in the previous chapters how these wonderful pastimes of Vrittasura, who came as a demon, but actually was a devotee of the Lord. He was killed by Indra because Indra was trying to protect the demigods. And his previous life, Vrittasura's previous life, was that of Chitraketu, one of the most amazing devotees of the Lord, who committed an accidental offense against Parvati and then was cursed. But that curse he took as a blessing. The curse was come back as Vittasura. And the blessing was, as Vittasura, he attained liberation very quickly. So, chapter 19 is called Performing the Pum Savana Ritualistic Ceremony. Parikshit Maharaj asked about the details about how to perform the Pum Savana vow, which Sukadev Goswami explains. On the first day of the bright fortnight of Agraha Yana, that's November, December, with the husband's permission. Oh, yeah, so this is the tapasya that was done by Mother Diti in order to, she wanted to get a son to kill Indra. But actually, it so happened that 49 sons were born and they became brothers of Indra. And they also, instead of becoming demons, they became demigods. So, with the husband's permission, before the worship, the wife can hear the story of the Maruts. She must wake up early, bathe, wear clean clothes, and worship Lakshmi Narayan. She must offer obeisances and pray to them. The Lord is the Supreme Personality Godhead, full of all opulences, mercy, and transcendental qualities. One must glorify Lakshmi, then worship them, Lakshmi Narayan, with ornaments, flower scents, incense, lamps, chanting the following mantra every day. Om Namo Bhagavate Mahapurushaya Mahanubhavaya Mahavibhuti Pate Ye Saha Mahavibhuti Bhi Balim Upaharan Harami. My Lord Vishnu, full opulences, you are the best of all the enjoyers and the most powerful. O husband of Mother Lakshmi, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you, who are accompanied by many associates, such as Vishwaksena. I offer all the paraphernalia for worshipping you. After worshipping the Lord with all the paraphernalia mentioned above, one should then chant the following mantra, while offering 12 oblations of ghee on the sacrificial fire. And that is Om Namo Bhagavate Mahapurushaya Mahavibhuti Pattaye Swaha. Lakshmi Narayan bestow all benedictions upon their worshippers. So everyone should daily worship them. Lakshmi should be worshipped as the internal energy of the Lord, whereas the Lord is a supreme enjoyer. Thereafter, with devotion, humility, one should offer prayers to the Lord and Mother Lakshmi. Further, worship is performed after removing the old articles, that is, the garments, etc., and again after smelling the remnants. The wife should worship the husband by offering him prasad. One should daily offer prasad to the Brahmins and to women who are living peacefully with their husbands and children, continuing to follow the rules to worship Lord Vishnu. After 1 year, the wife should fast on the full moon day in the month of Kartik. Then cook sweet rice, which the husband should offer as oblations with ghee to the sacrificial fire 12 times. After satisfying the Brahmins and one's guru, one should take prasad. So this is the end of Canto 6. But I wanted to just go through some of the glories of Bhakti Yoga. We see in Bhagavatam, almost throughout the whole Bhagavatam, a lot of emphasis on Bhakti Yoga. So I just wanted to go through as much as we can up to the 6th canto. Srimad Bhagavatam repeatedly emphasizes that Bhakti Yoga is the best path that reconnects the conditioned living entity with the Supreme Lord Krishna. The supremacy of Bhakti Yoga over other yogas, such as Astanga Yoga and Jnana Yoga, in uplifting the soul is repeatedly established in the Bhagavatam. The following is a list of selected verses from the 3rd canto that glorify the path of Bhakti, categorized into various sections. Only the themes of the verses are given so that we may appreciate them at a glance. So what is Bhakti Award? The abode of the Lord. Devotees with serious attitude attain Vaikuntha. It elevates one to the highest perfectional stage. The Lord takes them beyond birth and death. Devotees don't desire for Satyalok, Astasiddhis, or even Vaikuntha, but still the Lord awards them his own abode. What else? Liberation. In spite of the unwillingness, devotees attain liberation without separate endeavor. Bhakti makes it possible to advance in knowledge and detachment as well as in self-realization. So bhakti is all-encompassing. Some people might think, oh, I do bhakti. Or this person is doing bhakti, just doing worship, chanting Hare Krishna or whatever. But actually not gaining anything in knowledge. But actually bhakti, and especially this is verse 10:8, I think it is, in the Bhagavad Gita, where Krishna says, those who are dedicated to me, I give them the knowledge by which they come to me. And also he gives detachment as well as self-realization. Transcendental opulences. Time cannot destroy the transcendental opulences that the devotees receive because they're coming from Supreme Lord. And they're coming not in a material form. They're not coming to award the body. They're coming to award these transcendental opulences coming to the Atma, to the soul. So that's why time cannot destroy these opulences. Nothing is impossible for one who takes shelter of the Lord. Love, Bhakti Yoga gives love for the Lord. One surpasses the 3 gunas and attains prema for the Lord. The Lord is never separated from the lotuses of the hearts of the devotees. Quickly dissolves the subtle body of living entities without separate endeavor. What's a subtle body? Mind, intelligence, and false ego. And what bhakti does? It dissolves that subtle body. This subtle body stays with us until we leave this material world. So we get the same mind, same intelligence, same ego, stays with us. But what this Bhakti Yoga does, because we are going to hopefully surpass this material world, it destroys the subtle body. By hearing about the Lord's qualities, the mind flows continuously to the Lord and unobstructed. Such bhakti is causeless, uninterrupted. Hearing Krishna Katha in the association of devotees will give ruchi, taste, a shakti's great attachment, bhava, even stronger emotional attachment, and prema, love of God. Bhakti is the best process. Perfection in self-realization cannot be attained unless one engages in Bhakti Yoga. There is no greater person than he who has no interest outside of the Lord. The Lord is perceived only through unfailing devotional service. Tivra Bhakti is the only means for attainment of the final profession of life. Bhakti Yoga removes miseries. As long as people of this material world do not take shelter of your lotus feet, they are full of anxieties. It delivers one from all material pangs. There is never any question of frustration. Devotees are never put into threefold miseries. The sadhus do not suffer for material miseries. I've confirmed. I've confirmed.
You have. But he doesn't.
Just do the logistics with him. Devotees find it easy to seek Lord's protection, but unrighteous persons find it difficult. So what does Bhakti Yoga do? Compared to materialistic paths, devotees find it easy to get the Lord's protection. But those who are not righteous will find it very hard. They'll never want to take shelter of the Lord because they're scared or they're just ignorant. One who fails to please the Lord certainly neglects his own self-interest. Devotees can only put faith in Lord Krishna as transcendental sense activities, not those who are under the control of supernatural forces. Anyone whose work, religious, ritualistic performances and renunciation does not lead to bhakti must be considered dead, although he's breathing. So this is quite heavy. Right? This is quite heavy. But actually, if we really want to have some value to our existence, there has to be some connection with God. Otherwise, what is the point? Bhakti Yoga versus Astanga Yoga. Astanga Yoga requires bhakti as an element of success. So Astanga Yoga is one where one sits and meditates on the Paramatma within, with eyes closed and for long periods of time. Always immersed in devotional service, the Astanga yogi visualizes the Lord standing, moving, lying down, or sitting with him. Right? So this is interesting. So actually, even the Astanga yogi is actually doing Bhakti Yoga. Bhakti Yoga versus the Virat Roop worship. Worshippers of the Virat Roop don't get liberation if they don't possess Bhakti. Because the Virat Roop is a material manifestation of the Lord. It doesn't exist in the spiritual world. So one who worships a Virat Roop is still going to be bound in this material world. Although they are worshipping the Lord in this universal form. But unless they connect through Bhakti, they stay here. Bhakti Yoga versus Jnana Yoga. Bhakti is easy to perform. Other processes, Jnana and Astanga Yoga, involves a lot of pain. Astanga Yoga, because you have to sit in a certain way and breathe in a certain way. Jnana Yoga means you have to read a lot, understand a lot, meditate a lot, but not necessarily meditating on the Lord. They're meditating perhaps on the Brahmajyoti, which is very hard to meditate on, meditating on some light or something, which is so hard. The four Kumaras transformed from impersonalism to personalism by smelling the aroma of tulsi leaves from the Lord's lotus feet. Either by bhakti or by philosophical research, one has to find this same destination as Bhagavan, Brahman, which is nothing but the bodily effulgence of the Lord. So Jnanis will attain this effulgence of the Lord, Brahman. But Bhakti Yoga, yogis, they attain the spiritual planet where Lord lives. Jnana Yoga requires bhakti as the element for success. For a jnani to attain impersonal Brahman, developing bhakti is an element. It's important. Process of Gyan involves engaging in bhakti, with the faith that the Lord is real. So sometimes the Gyanis, they believe that nothing in this world is real. And the Bhaktas actually say, no, everything is real, but it's temporary. It doesn't last. Because it doesn't last, it doesn't mean it's not real. But the Gyanis will always argue that everything is illusion, not in existence. And that even includes the Lord's forms. And that's very dangerous because the Lord doesn't have a material form. He has a spiritual form. Bhakti versus impersonal liberation. Bhakti performed without motive on a spontaneous level, bhav, is superior to liberation. So we were talking about bhav. Bhav is next to prema. That is more superior than liberation. Devotees never desire to become one with the Lord. Devotees don't accept 5 kinds of liberation, even though they are offered it by the Lord. So that's just Canto number 3, Reiki. so many verses in this chapter, this canto, talks just about Bhakti Yoga. So Canto 4. As a spotless Quran, the Srimad Bhagavatam recommends a spotless solution for the predicament of the suffering souls of in this material world. Bhakti, the process of devotional service, is that spotless solution. Various personalities in different episodes of the Srimad Bhagavatam glorify this process as the topmost process for pleasing the Supreme Lord. Bhakti is glorified in various ways by describing its effects on practitioners, by comparing it with other processes like karma and jnana, by giving examples of successful practitioners, by mentioning how far it is dear to the Supreme Lord. So, in the 4th canto, we find many episodes that bring out the glories of bhakti. Bhakti develops one's attachment to the Lord. So we are supposed to be detached from this material world. But it's very hard to be detached from something unless you have an attachment for something else. So that's required. Attachment for the Supreme can be increased by practicing bhakti, inquiring, worshipping, etc. These actions are pious themselves. One's love and devotion unto the Supreme Lord becomes unflinching and fixed. Bhakti is the only way to please the Lord. The practice of bhakti gives rise to bhava, which leads to the association of the Lord. By intense bhakti, dhruv. So Dhruv's pastimes were given in the 4th canto. He saw the Lord in everything and everything in the Lord. He saw the Lord in everything and everything in the Lord. One transcends the material qualities and is easily fixed in transcendence. Bhakti awards liberation. One achieves the final objective of life by performing bhakti. If a living entity is Krishna conscious, merciful to others, and if his spiritual knowledge of self-realization is perfect, he will attain immediately liberation. My practice of devotional service, by practice of devotional service, one's bones, one's material subtle body, exactly as fire. Oh, I'm not sure if I understand that. Anyway, we don't have to worry about that one too much. Devotional service situates the Lord in the heart and thus frees one from samsara, this birth and death, cycle of birth and death. Persons who constantly meditate upon the Lord surpass the course of birth and death. This perfection is very difficult to achieve. Once having taken shelter at the root of the lotus feet of the Lord, a devotee cleanses his mind of all mental speculation and never comes back to material existence. By bhakti, one can cross over the insurmountable illusory energy of Maya. By taking shelter of the boat of Lord's lotus feet, one can cross over the ocean of nescience infested with many dangerous snakes. Bhakti fulfills all desires. For those who engage in bhakti, there is nothing which is not available. Being fixed in bhakti, one can conquer whatever he wants. One can acquire whatever he wants from the Lord. Those who desire even Purusha arthas should worship the Lord. By sincere and serious bhakti, the Lord fulfills even material desires. But ideally, the bhakta will not have material desires. By taking shelter of the Lord's lotus feet, one can transcend all accusations. All accusations. Transcend all. Yeah. Remembrance of the Lord makes one free from the fire of material world. The Lord extinguishes suffering. Bhakti is in the association of devotees. Bhakti in the association of devotees enables one to transcend all material sufferings. Those who perform bhakti are easily freed from samsara. My devotee who is connected with me in intense friendship and affection, being completely in knowledge, is never agitated by material happiness and distress. One who wants freedom from fear must take to the process of bhakti yoga. One who is engaged in bhakti has not the least fear of material existence. Those who practice bhakti, even though participating in family life, are not affected by the results of their action. Bhakti removes material contamination. Meditation on the Lord very soon frees one from all material contamination. Being fully engaged in bhakti, one becomes transcendental to material enjoyment. Devotees attached to the Lord's lotus feet do not desire anything material. By bhakti, one forgets the false conception of I and mine. Bhakti burns away all dirt, material things like fire. It enables one to see nothing but the Supreme Lord and the pure soul engaged in bhakti. The inclination to serve, seva, cleanses the dirt accumulated in the mind, and bhakti increases more and more. Association of devotees removes attachment to the body and bodily relationships. Bhakti frees one from the clutches of false ego and material conception of life. Bhakti completely cleanses one's heart. And one who is favored by Bhakti Devi, that's Radharani, does not become bewildered by the external energy. Those who engage in pure devotional service get free from material desires. Bhakti awards auspicious qualities. It brings unity. By bhakti, one gives up all material activities and Vedic ritualistic performances. The Lord's form is worshipped by devotees. The Lord's form worshipped by the devotees can perfectly satisfy all the senses. For those who perform bhakti are equipoised in all situations. One becomes satisfied within. Bhakti is fulfilling, just as the nectar from a parijata tree satisfies a bee. Superiority of bhakti brings greatest success even in material happiness, and afterwards achieves liberation, which is impossible by worshipping the demigods. Superiority of bhakti. Bhakti brings greatest success even in material happiness, and afterwards achieves liberation, which is impossible by worshipping the devatas. Association of the Lord's devotees can not be compared to attaining swarga, mukti, or earthly pleasures. The bliss of bhakti surpasses even the bliss of Brahmananda and swarga. By bhakti, one can attain Vaikuntha planets, which are very difficult to achieve. Devotees can easily overcome the hard, knotted desires for fruitive activities, but a non-devotee, that's a jnani or karmi, cannot. By unalloyed bhakti, one is promoted to spiritual planets. Lord Shiva and other demigods attain these planets after the destruction of this material world. Bhakti is difficult, even for liberated persons, but only bhakti can satisfy the Lord. By even a moment association with a devotee, one is no longer subjected to karma and gyan. He becomes disinterested in the benedictions of the demigods. Without bhakti, all abilities like mental speculation, intelligence, etc. are useless. Wow. The Lord accepts the worship of the devotees and rejects the proud, furtive workers. The path of bhakti is most suitable and recommended. Great people perform or aspire for bhakti. Even Brahma achieved his position only by worshipping the Lord. Dhruv attained the Lord's abode in just one lifetime by devotional service. Liberated sentient persons take to bhakti as it relieves one from samsara or illusion. Even the King of Heaven is desirous of obtaining the ultimate goal of life, bhakti. Surrendered devotees of Lord Vasudeva are dear to great devotees like Lord Shiva. And if we don't perform bhakti, what happens? When one becomes void of knowledge and devotional service, he enters into the species of life like that of a tree and stones. Knowledge and detachment are not possible without bhakti. People who don't take shelter of the Lord's feet suffer in samsara due to anarthas. So let's stop there. We'll continue tomorrow, just having a look at bhakti, and then we'll hopefully also move into the 7th canto. Any questions, any comments?
Prabhuji,
Yes, Nanimit.
he said earlier that when you're doing bhakti, you don't suffer from three miseries, three aspects of the miseries. What does that mean? The miseries are always, does it mean that it doesn't affect the devotee? Exactly.
Yeah. The threefold miseries are, the miseries caused by other living entities, the mind,
Adidevika or
Adhyatmic, perfect. Adhyatmic, very good. So, yes, because the devotee's conception is no longer that he is this body. And these threefold miseries only impact the body because the soul is completely spiritual, completely pure. So that's why, because they're engaged in bhakti and they have this knowledge that they are not the body, they are the soul connected to the Supreme Soul. Therefore, these threefold miseries can't affect them, right? Because it may affect the body, but the devotee is beyond the body, isn't he? Even whilst living in the body. And like our Guru Maharaj is an example, and Prabhupada is an example. He traveled across the ocean to come to the States, but on the way he had 2 heart attacks. But did it stop him? Did it actually stop him? No, it didn't stop him. In fact, he excelled. And our Guru Maharaj is the same. He had a quadruple bypass operation. And after that operation, he somehow went to all different countries, South Africa, Mauritius, US, so many different countries. The pure devotees are never stopped by, the so-called onslaught of the threefold miseries.
Yeah.
But very rare, very rare. Very rare, yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Anybody else? Prabha and
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna.
I wanted to ask something, but now because the page is gone quite far, if you take it back, then I will ask that question.
Do you remember roughly?
It's something to do with the God. Just carry on.
But there's a lot of pages. But we can see how important bhakti is by
just do it slowly.
So many references of bhakti in the Bhagavatam.
Carry on. Carry on. It said something about the God is also attach, supreme increase. No.
When we say, I think it talked about the devatas, how the devatas also aspire for bhakti. Is that what you mean?
No. I was going to write, but then you paged the turn.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, you won't find it because it's so much.
It's too much, yeah.
So much information.
No. I think just leave it.
Yeah, don't.
It was to do with the God. He just said that he also is having difficulties.
Well, the Lord won't have difficulties.
But maybe I must have read differently. This canto will come on the thing again.
They're on the YouTube.
Yeah, this is on YouTube. Yeah.
Okay. I'll have a look and then I'll ask tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah, just carry on now. I mean, what's the difference between bhakti and gnan? Is it same or different?
No, very different. Gyan is basically one is engaged in reading a lot and trying to ascertain what is spiritual, what is material, and trying to make that distinction between the spirit and the material. So
more is to do with the bhakti, is that right?
Yeah, more is to do with learning, understanding. Vedic literatures are read and like the rituals are performed. But bhakti is where one is connected with God. So the knowledge is basically that the Lord is the source of everything, and the Lord is the protector of everybody, and our seva is to get to please the Lord by our activities. So that's the whole idea of bhakti. Gyan, God may not be in the picture. This is the big difference. God may not be even in the picture. But in bhakti, God is in the center and everywhere. He's everywhere, actually.
Everywhere.
Okay?
Thank you. Hare Krishna,
Thank you.
Prabhuji.
Thank you so much. Srimad Bhagavad Purana ki jai.